Welcome to the channel. My name is Joey Kimsey, and I am a developer with AlbanyITSolutions.com. Today we're going to be reviewing one of our recently completed projects for a client. We're going to review their website, talk about some of the design decisions we made. We're going to talk about some of the features we added and some of the things that they asked for. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into their website. So this is for a local construction company in the Albany, Georgia area. They reached out because they essentially didn't have much online presence and they really wanted to get that started. They thought a website would probably be the best bet. So they didn't really have a whole lot of requirements. They essentially reached out and gave me some information about the company and deferred to my judgment for building the design. To start with, I did 3 initial designs. We did a dark layout, a kind of in the middle layout, and a light layout. In the long run, they chose to do the light layout with some darker accents, so that's what we have here. Pretty simple overall. The main hero image, we could have gone with any number of things. I just found one of the images they shared of their work that I thought was, visually interesting. So we rolled with that one. Simple menu. Each one of these is actually its own unique page. This isn't a single page design. So we'll follow up and review each of these pages at the end once we kind of go through the home page. We'll see here we have the Get Started Today button, which will lead you to a form at the bottom of the page. One of the things that they had that we started with was they do have a Facebook that they've been working on for some time. So we wanted to call out their Facebook above the fold, make sure you know that you can find them other locations. So if we scroll down, we're going to get into what I like to start with, which is a short and sweet about section. For this particular business, there's actually 2 owners who work side by side, a father and a son. So their about section is more detailed and kind of gives an overview of each of them individually. So we did a short little blurb right here that essentially links to the About Us page where you can learn more about the owners. So we weren't putting the whole thing on the home page, just kind of a reference. If we keep scrolling down, we kind of kept with that theme where we have an entire page dedicated to services, but we wanted to highlight the most important aspects of those services. So when you're looking for a contractor, generally speaking, you're looking for them for one of like 2 or 3 things. That's new build construction, something really special, or a remodel. So we drew particular attention to these 4, and you can learn more about their full services on the services page. If we keep scrolling, we have some of the featured work. We can switch these out as needed. I essentially just selected 3 projects that I thought kind of highlighted the type of work they do. And we'll see more details on these in the Our Works section. But essentially when you hover over them, you have a View Details button. It'll give you some information. This one is a bonus room remodel. This one is a barn-dominium, which I thought was a nice little word. But yeah, so you can click these and view these projects in depth, but we're going to keep scrolling. We have a little call to action. You can view the projects or you can get started. And this is our Get Started section. So this is towards the bottom of the page, but not the end. This is really where we're trying to drive users to. This is another type of business that doesn't require a high online presence. So what we're really trying to do is get them to interact with this form so that we can get an email and then someone can reach out to that person by phone or visit them in person to quote the job, give them more info on specifics about what they need. If we keep scrolling, this is another section that isn't really as important to a contractor, but this is a nice feature to have if you're a retail or storefront business. So in this particular one, you can see we have their business address shows on Google Maps. If you click this, you can actually open up Google Maps, get directions, save it, and do all those sorts of things. This is more handy when you're on your phone, which all of our sites are responsive, so it looks great on mobile as well as tablet size and desktop. As I mentioned, this business has 2 main owners, so it was important that we included both phone numbers and both emails. they do work out at the same office. It is one business, so we only have the one address, but we did want to make sure that we included both of their contact details. At the very bottom, we have what our clients say, so essentially just some reviews. We have a more in-depth list of reviews that I'll talk about more in depth once we get to that page, but essentially these are just some excerpts from that page. It's hard to see with my camera, but if we change the size, you can see that we have privacy policy, terms of use, our story, as well as we have another link to our Facebook at the bottom. So privacy policy and terms of use are their own unique pages, pretty standard. They are required if you want to run Google Ads, so we do make sure to include them for all our clients who we know are going to be running advertisements. The Our Story will actually link you back to the About page, where we will start exploring the pages more in depth. So have a couple of highlights. We have the darker theme tone with Meet Our Team, and then we have the red from the logo for Built Different. This is an excerpt actually written by the client that they wanted to make sure was included, so we included that in big text to bring kind of prominence to it. It's a kind of an outline of how they feel about doing business. If we keep scrolling, we can meet the co-founders, Billy Wright, as well as Matt Austin, and each of them kind of gave me their own About Me section that talks about the company, how they founded it, and the work they do. So we also have a call to action at the bottom, so we get in touch, and that, as we mentioned, drives us towards this contact page where we kind of push the interaction offline. All right, so we'll visit the services page. This was more kind of just a reference page for anyone who's wondering about their specific thing that they wanted to do. I was given a huge list, this huge list of specific types of things that they work on. We couldn't incorporate all of them on the home page, so this was our fallback option, which was to just list everything that they offer on this page. So if you're really trying to figure out if that one thing you wanted is possible, you can find it here. We'll continue on to the Our Work section. For this particular client, they had almost 200 images of work that they had done. I worked with them to kind of get a loose title for the album, as well as a short little blurb sentence about each one. You can click into each one of these and see a full list of all of the images in the album. You can click through them. This is the one from the home page, actually. I love this photo. But you can exit this, and each one of them is their own unique album, but it all kind of functions exactly the same. You can flip through. We didn't really do a lot of effort in ordering these images. These images were over many years provided to me, so they weren't exactly in order, but it doesn't necessarily matter for all of them. You got some befores and you have some afters, and like this particular album is just after shots. So that does highlight a lot of their projects. And if you're thinking about specifically a kitchen, you can come in and look at their kitchen remodel. You can see they completely gutted this place and rebuilt it, and I think it looks great. They do some great work. I was very happy to work with these guys. They're incredibly friendly. So one of the things that I loved about visiting them at their office, in our initial meetings we had talked about, they had been around for many years, but they didn't have an online presence. And one of the things that you really want from your online presence is reviews. You want social proof that the work you do affects people in a positive way. What they had in their office, which was amazing, is this huge photo right here. And these are all these gifts and notes and cards and things that they've been sent over the years. They collected them all on this pushpin board. So what we did is, one, I got this photo to highlight that these are real and they're coming from real people. But we made a note, handwritten notes from our clients to let you know that these aren't pulled from Google. We give a little short thank you to all the wonderful customers and all their kind words. And then down here, we took excerpts from all of these mailed in postcards and letters, and then we kind of just attributed them, some of them to their name, some of them to their initials, some of them to just client. But yeah, I thought this was great. And This was a fun feature to build because it was kind of bringing their offline experience into the online world in a way that I feel like you can look at it and you can be like, oh, I get it. These are real. They're not from Google, but they're real, and I can see that they're real. So I like this. This was a lot of fun to work on. Aside from that, we have the contact page, which we've seen before, and that's pretty much the whole build out. We have a little bit of highlighting on this section when you hover over the button. But yeah, all in all, the client was very happy. They didn't have a whole lot of design requirements, so they kind of just trusted us to take the ball and run with it, and this is what we did for them. This full build out, it actually took, as far as the timeline from when it started to when it finished, was pretty wide because they weren't very concerned with when it was delivered. But as far as full-on time invested in creating the product and getting it online, I want to say that they came in at just shy of 16 hours or so. All in, I want to say that they also paid around $375. So that includes 3 initial designs. We worked to refine those designs. We worked back and forth to get all these images in, make sure they worked well, and all signed, sealed, and delivered. So that's about 2.5 days of actual work. So about a 2-day turnaround. They paid about $350, $375 if I recall correctly. But yeah. If you've been interested in seeing this site and you have a business that you would like to get online, or if you're interested in just starting your business's digital footprint, even if it's not with a website, we can help you get started. If you check us out at albanyitsolutions.com, you can find a full list of services as well as get in contact with us about your project. And until next time, have a great day.